So please do share this one if you can, because I think this relates to a social issue which could be solved rather easily and rather cheaply, and that's the problem of rough sleeping in UK towns and cities, i.e., the sort of the visible elements of homelessness. So what I would advocate is instead of seeing people sleeping in shop doorways and so on park benches, or in bits of disused waste ground in tents and so on. We could have yurts open to the public for rough sleepers, and that would cost local towns and cities, I expect, a few tens of thousands of pounds probably. And they could have cameras in them. I don't think they'd be all that expensive. Maybe like £100,000 or 150 grand. In any case, I reckon this problem could be resolved quite easily and quite cost effectively. Yeah, maybe have cameras in the yurts just for security, safety reasons. I try to think of every possible reason why someone would like block a proposal like this. They might say it's something like it's a fire hazard. They might say like, yeah, like people would smoke in it and so on, and get on the floor and it cause a conflagration and the thing to like burn down. I guess we'd have to make it out of some fire retardant fabric or fire resistant fabric, if that's too politically incorrect. But yeah, again, like I suspect actually no one's thought of this, have they? Like yurts for homeless people. So you get 10 people in a yurt. How many rough sleepers are there on average per city per night in Britain? I I don't see all of them in Bath, say, but there are some in Bath most of the time, like sleeping a shop doorway or like on the street. There's like I count like two or three at least every time I. And there's always homeless people in Bath. There's loads of them, lots of them, not loads and loads, but I mean, yeah, there's people always like 5 or 6 people asking for change on the street. I see, and they're there. Like there's loads of homeless people around. I've been homeless for a bit myself, twice actually, and it was not a very nice experience. I did manage to get out of it quite quickly and into like various forms of accommodation, and I know a lot is provided for the homeless already. But I think this is a really good idea since it kind of acts as maybe the first point of contact with people who could get housing for you, and it sort of acts as a nice emergency measure for people who sleep on the streets. Yeah, I think it could be a really good idea, or not. Wouldn't that just solve the problem completely? Got public yurts now. These are good. It's a really easy solution to a problem that no one seems to have thought of. I'm coming up with a lot of these today, or like not today, but in general, I think, because I just developed what I believe is probably a new technique for making gravy, and it involves just putting all the ingredients in a measuring jug, then the water, and then flour. And what it makes like very delicious gravy is what it makes. So these yurts, I did like it's just obvious, isn't it, to solve homelessness? Public places where you can sleep, a yurt, a tent, or a big tent. Then, if not a yurt, it'd be even cheaper. Heat them with electricity. That wouldn't cost too much. Running water in it. I don't know. I'm gonna go that far. Maybe like be able to have showers or something in them, and like a little. I bet like drum circles would appear outside of them within like a week, and be co-opted by hippies or people say, "I'm gonna live on the road, man. I'm gonna like travel around Britain and be like little hobbits traveling around the Shire, just like making homelessness like a viable option." Actually, you know what I reckon would happen? Like most digital nomads would just move into them, wouldn't they? And like, yeah, they would. Oh, that's a problem actually. You okay, mate? It's late, mate. For me, it's early. This is when I wake up in the mornings. I've actually been up for a few hours. I had like a sleep between 5 and uh, 10 or so, or 8. And I'll sleep again probably in the middle of the day. A total of 6 hours sleep a day. I have about 12. But yeah, I'm fine. This is just a really good idea, isn't it? Well, yeah, digital nomads would move in and colonize them, looking for cheap accommodation in the city. Uh, and then would rough sleeping still be a problem? But this hasn't even been attempted. Why hasn't it been attempted? I don't get it. It's a silly thing not to try. You're a scientist, aren't you? Boss videos, mate. Thank you. I'm an amateur scientist, an independent researcher. I've spent many years studying science, but no qualifications in science. Didn't stop Michael Faraday, so he became president of the Royal Society, which is sort of like the biggest honor he could have achieved, I suppose, in the days before Nobel Prizes, which is when he was living. But yeah, homelessness tackled rather easily. I've written an article was about how climate change would be tackled rather easily with hemp agriculture. The only problem with it being it might take too much carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere due to global cooling. But yeah, this is a good idea. It just is. I know it is. And yeah, if you don't think also that it is, because you'd be wrong.